Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. So this week we talked about interpersonal skills, and this includes observing, nonverbal communication, attending, listening, and expressing warmth. So when being a good observer, you have to observe what is happening beyond what the client is saying and speaking about. And to do this, we usually look at their nonverbal communication. So this can be anything between like different facial expressions and breathing patterns, such as like maybe they're sighing, maybe they're starting to breathe really fast. They may gesture a lot, like oh, and like maybe hit their fist on the table. They move, maybe like squirm, like they're uncomfortable, and like their posture can change, like if they're really uptight, maybe they're like really concerned about it, or if they're like really slouched down, they're really depressed and sad. All you have to do is just try to watch them as they speak, but also make sure you're listening and just maybe even comment on the observations that you're seeing. Like in the book, it gives an example of one of the clients saying that they're not angry, but they still hit their fist on the table out of anger. Like that would be something we would want to comment on. Attending is being completely focused on the client, and in this we have to make sure that we're seeing what's being communicated through like we're like communicating through like our posture, facial expressions, eye contact, and if we're distracted, then like we're not attending because our whole focus is not on the client. In attending, minimal encouragement is the few words or less to let the person know that you are there, that you are listening, and that you are attending. And this can be one of the most powerful tools to use in practice. And to make sure you're attending, you can be leaning forward, like really intense, you're listening. It could include like matching their facial expressions. So if they're concerned, you look concerned, and just making sure that you have regular eye contact, because that can really help build the trust in the working relationship. So listening fully is focusing on what the other person is attempting to communicate. So you attend to the client, not yourself. So you stop thinking about like, if they say something that happened to you, then you aren't like gonna start thinking about like similar things. You are just listening to the client. You turn off your words, which is what I just pretty much said. You notice how they communicate. So like this could be their tone, the rate that they're speaking at, and yeah. I have my notes with me, so I make sure I get everything. And this is very important. It is your responsibility to listen carefully, because they may like slide something in there that's like really important, and if you're not paying attention, then you might not catch it and may not be able to like bring the full focus that it needs onto it. But you also need to make sure you're relaxing and like giving it time to like not only to like get into listening and like practicing how to do it and everything, but also give the client time, because sometimes they may like talk more slowly and like choose words carefully. So like you just need to like give them time and like not ask questions and wait for them to speak. And then feeling genuinely listened to helps the client develop a sense of trust, be more inclined towards self-reflection, experience respect and caring from the practitioner. So this is one way that you can express warmth to your client. I think that all of these help explain like how we are expressing warmth to clients, as well as expressing caring and interest to the client through our demeanor. So like I said before, like it's shown in our appearance, attention, and or expression of concern or acceptance, and may be expressed by a handshake. But the thing about like touching your client is that you also need to bring into the picture about their culture, because in our culture, like regular eye contact and handshaking and stuff is an expression of warmth, but in other cultures it could offend them. So yeah. So in our typical conversation, we might just ramble, we have eye contact, it's more relaxed. We don't always make sure we're completely listening, not always attending in our typical conversations, but in the practice setting, it is very important that you are attending and you're making sure that you're listening to your client. And demonstrating attending, observing, listening, and warmth will probably take time. Some people may be more natural about it, but it's definitely going to be hard at some points, especially if you get distracted easily. But that's what makes us good helping professionals. I hope everybody had a great week.